everybody, my name is Farmer Phil, and in today's video we are getting machinery put away, tidied up and put away. The baler's back in the yard after being put away with another customer who want to make bales. We put the bullet out, we done the bit, so I brought it home. I'm getting her done now. So we have the 99 hooked up to the applied. I can't find my applied blow gun, so I have a roll blow gun hooked up to the compressor. And just want to get rid of all the year's dust off it and leave it clean. I won't get her moisture and all that fun stuff. Get her blow down. That is the plan. So we're going to blow down, and then we're going to go up. We have to rearrange machinery, put away the mowers, put in the stone picker, we have to bring up the rake and the tether and just pack away machinery. And we will go through how we got on this year with the stone picker. Have I done enough work to make the repayments this year? Well, we'll find out later on in the video. And just in general about my other bits that I do with the big square baler, the grass harrow, and time of the year it's time to wind up and pack up and put away. So I hope the compressor put this on time lapse. Got back the 3075 out of the way there. Have to blow the dust into it. And yeah, happy out. And now that is it done. Bit dusty. Good bit of dust. Won't wash it because don't want it sitting in water. But getting rid of the dust off it will stop moisture from gathering in them spots and should leave it pretty good. I would like to bring it in and do pickup times and all that and have it ready to go next year, but that ain't going to happen. One day we'll get into the habit of that, but that's not going to happen. Anyways, there you go. At least that job is done. She's blew down, so now we'll be on to the farm. We'll back her into the shed. We have to move the mowers in front of that, pick up the stone picker, take the net off it, that's wrapped around it, hook it in, and then tomorrow we'll probably go with the rakes and the tethers up as far as it, the shed, have them in as well. But yeah, that's one job ticked off the list. We are back up here on the out farm. So Michael's in the 99, we're just getting ready to move the mowers, put them in front of the Fusion. Should probably still give us plenty of space in front of that again, but just so we can rearrange everything. So yeah, I'll do that for Michael there. Move the John Deere. Ooh, that was a tight one. Yeah. Right, I'm gonna put the camera on time lapse. Give Mike a hand. Have our line of machinery this side. Now, yes, should have put the baler behind the mowers, but I couldn't move the baler without moving the mowers. So yeah, it is what it is. But the mowers are washed, greased down, and they're ready to rock for next year. I'll probably have to change the knives. So when they come out next year, I've changed the knives, but apart from that, they're ready to rock. Oil change done. So Michael's heading back now. We were sizing up. We have the class rake, the Samaz rake, the Samaz tether, and the stone picker to go into this shed yet. But this stuff here, I need out. But I don't need it now. So this is the last of our mill peat. We bought a lot of mill peat 4 or 5 years ago, so much so we had this shed nearly full of mill peat. That's why the floor's on mill peat. The mill peat came out half the shed. There was kind of the last hoo-ha before they started shutting down bogs and that. But I want this for bedding the bulls come next January, February, before we kill them, so that the mill peat will do what mill peat does and clean the cattle off. Mill peat leaves cattle lovely and clean. It's literally, when you take them off straw bedding and then you put them into mill peat, it's like you spent all night power washing them. They do be spotless, and it's great for making sure the cattle are clean going to the factory. But the problem I have is I don't need it till January. Where can I keep it till January? That's at home, that's dry. And what we would have done, and we done last year, with machinery in here, They take it all out in January, come in, take out the mill peat, and then put back in the machinery. So rather than put in machinery to take it out next January to put them all back in again, and we'll go do this now. So Michael's gone home to get the red rock. I'm going to go back in the gear. So I came up and I fed a few calves on the way up. Go back and get the JCB in the bucket, and we're going to clean the last of the mill peat out of this shed. Trying to figure out how is this going to best work and bring home the mill peat. So usually we'll be up here the wee tally, or actually tractor and loader, I think, last time. So hopefully it'll all fit in the red rock in the one go. There could be a bit more than the one load in and now. So there's a little bit of tight manoeuvre now, just navigate round, and excuse the beeping, I'm sure it is plenty painful to listen to. Hello? What's up? Rice cakes? Okay. Bye. Love me some rice cakes. You may be wondering about this out farm that we're on. And there's two slant sheds here. There's one that side and one that side. And you may remember videos from a couple of years ago of us having cattle up here, and I done the 3-bale challenge all them years ago up here as well. I can't remember what year the 3-bale challenge was. That was good fun. But anyways, so we quit using this. We used, after we took this farm on lease, we used it for 2-3 years of cattle, and it was just way too much hassle for cattle. Way too much. The tank that side fills with water. The tank that side only holds about 5 load, very small. And cubicle capacity of the shed, what you could actually feed through the feeding barriers that we had to set up, did not make much sense. It had a lot of cubicles for the feeding space, and it just never worked that terribly well when we were trying to use it, so we quit using it. But the way that this farm was designed, and you'll see there's a good few farms were set up like this years and years ago, maybe 60s, 70s, maybe 80s. Someone might have a better idea of that than me, maybe. But the way this worked was, where we're taking the mill peat out where we store it, was the silage pit. The silage pit was indoors, and it was a self-feed operation. So both sides of the two slanted tanks were both had the cows. There would have been gates up that the cattle walked into the front of the silage pit, and then there was the electric wire across the face of the silage pit, kept right up next to the face, and the cattle self-fed out of the pit of the face of the silage pit. And that was how sheds like this work. That's how they were designed to work. And that's why trying to not do it that way, because it wouldn't make any sense for us to do it that way, didn't really work for us, because it just wasn't designed to feed. You could say the conventional or standard way of feeding today, not without some major or serious bits of building work just to make it more user friendly. So that's why we don't keep cattle up here anymore into sheds, because it was difficult. Just plenty of extra work that was just not worth it. Anyways, you get this mill peat out of here slowly but surely.
Another day, another mile. You've been.
That is all the mill peat out here, so it's dark now, so we'll probably come up the next day. Oh geez, I'm making some amount of days out trying to put away a few machinery. But anyways, we'll go home now. We'll get this put in. I think if I tip it in the silage pit and then move it round to the shed, I can store it in, because not hoping hell of tipping the shed there. And if I tip it beside or as near the shed as I can to like push it into it, I'm just going to, you know, doze it across 15-20 meters of ground of concrete under the canopies of the shed. I think I'll put it in where we have the calves, the straw shed, hay shed, because we have some straw going out there and there's probably enough space to be it on. Back to the and we're up here now with the class rake, just trying to maneuver it in. I'm going to hit the crone tether. The crone tether didn't get used at all this year because there's a bearing gone in one of the rotors and Father Phil didn't see the need to fix it. So I would very much like to either get fixed or get it gone, one or the other, because it's not taking up space on me. This space is a premium around these parts. Plan is to get up over next to the back wall and try not run into anything else in the shed. I think we're pretty much on target for that now. Forward a bit. I'm going to get caught in the 590 trying to slew her back. Yep. That's the job. We're just backing in with some EirCode tether there at the minute. Probably not a good idea to be trying to go backwards and talk to the camera. So the plan is to get this round the corner and in front of the class rake. That's why we're in the 3075. It's a much more nimbler machine than the 99 in tight spaces. How we got on with this machine first year using it, I absolutely loved it. 8 rotors catching 40 foot of grass and doing a smashing job. Smashing job. The only two things I can say about it is it tends to have a fair bit of stuff on the tether when you do a day's tedding, and it's a bit on the white side. It does a super job, and when you're taking 40 foot of grass each pass, don't be long getting through it. Could be a trick above my bench. We're right in on the 590. I'll catch it. I would say I should get the Samas rake. Scoop it right in back there. That's going to save me maybe just about enough space for one more machine at the front when the rake and the stone pickers in. We'll get this machine taken off and we'll be on and get the Samas rake. So we're backing in the Samas rake now. How have we got on with the Samas rake this year? Well, we didn't have it for the very start because as always we're very organised. You can't tell that sarcasm in my voice. But when we did get it going, very nice rake, does a lovely job. Didn't bail any rake arms, which was, that to me was the best part because it's new compared to the class. Follows the ground super well, does a lovely clean job. The hydraulic in and out, super job, because Bro could go from harvester to baling and there's no getting out changing, he just extend in and out, just super. But there's a couple of things that maybe not so keen on. One of them is the width of the markers on the back above the mud guard or the wheels. They stick out. When you're dead straight, they stick out, I'd say about 2 inches, 1.5 inches. But when you turn the wheel and you're coming into a spot, that's when they nearly stick out 6 inches and they get caught in everything. Trying to get in and out of fields, and that is a nightmare with them. So I was told to just cut them about 2 inches short and just pull them back and weld them back together, just to pull them back in because they're a bit of a pain that way. Other thing as well, this model rake is probably a bit on the small side. It's not going out far enough. If we mow the butterflies and mow out flat, she cannot catch the full tree width of the mower. You always end up kind of catching 2 3/4. So could have probably done with it the size bigger just to be able to catch the full width of the mower. If you put them in the rows, you can get 3, but if you lay it flat, she will not get it. I suppose the last thing, she's running sweet now, she's lovely, perfect job. But what she'll be like when she's as much rowing done as the class, time will only tell on that one. But all in all, I am happy with it. Just, I've probably done with a wider one. Try not run into the front mower. I'm again the front mower. It's way harder than it looks. And that's her. I get dismantled and we pick up the stone picker and we finish off the video with how we got on stone picking this year. I have the stone picker on the 3075. Reminds me the day I arrived because Eric actually, or was it Liv? No, it wouldn't have been Liv, it had to have been Eric. We were away spreading slurry the day this arrived and Eric took it off the low loader with the 3075. And when you put the stone picker on 99, looks reasonably sized for the job, but you put this behind the 3075 and it's like, whoa, this is a big machine. A big machine. Size comparison. Anyways, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And that is the stone picker in the shed. It's just at the edge of the line where the water comes in, the PTO shaft. I might be able to shove it in. I might just get it past. It might get wet. And I do have to replace the PTO shaft cover. You just cannot keep it right. One of the biggest issues with this machine, when you're working, because of the height it lifts up and down and it needs that level of travel to be able to work. If you have your lift arms fully up, you're catching it all around here when you have the machine lifted fully up. And then it also means you're always nudging that bit by bit. Sorry, you're always nudging this bit by bit. But if you have your lift arms all the way down, you have the opposite when you drop the machine, because then the machine all comes down and then you're catching it down here underneath. So you just, to be honest, you want to put that on a machine and take the lift arms off it. That would probably be the best way of doing it. But it's the hassle when you're using a machine for other jobs to take off the lift arms every time you want to use it, put them back on. Just don't bother, just keep it up. Well, anyways, that's it. So how have we gone on this year? I suppose firstly, we'll go through mechanically, have I had to do, very windy at the minute. Mechanically, have I had to do anything with this machine? Has anything broken on it? No. Haven't burnt a belt, haven't done anything. She's done 240 acres now without anything breaking. It's a very compromising position. But not even have I broke one of these, though one thing I do have to do before it goes out next year is all of these are now loose. Every one of them is loose. And I think it was Lee actually sent me a TikTok of someone who worked on one of these and said you gotta keep them tight, because once they start getting loose is when they start breaking. So I have to go through them all at some point and tighten them. But apart from that, nothing to be done. You may be wondering, why have I not cleaned my lovely collection of baler twine, baler net, wrap, sticks, wire, everything. Why have I not cleaned this? Well, because I want to do that job in the drum, and rather than leaving it sitting at home outside waiting for me to get time to do that job and clean this off, because that's an angle grinder job to clean all that crap off, it's better come up, go into the shed, and I can do that at some point during the winter, hopefully when I have a spare couple of hours, and back to the workshop, do the bits I want to do, cut that off and have it clean for next year. How many times have I cleaned this year? 5 or 6 times I've fully cleaned it off. It's a never-ending job. I've literally went to jobs where lads are like, no, nothing in this place. It hasn't been properly farmed in 60 odd years. It's a reclamation job, and I'm still fit to find baler twine or barbed wire or something. It just gathers crap. Does it affect how the machine works? No, never has, because I'm only working on about 2 to 3 inches of a depth of what I'm raking the stones off, because it will not dig up stones, it just rakes stones off the top of the ground. So she's not like going in the depth of the teeth. And to show you the wear in the teeth, you can see the wear on the teeth there. So that's what 250 acres looks like. Base, it's a bit more than that, but that's what it looks like. So they're wearing pretty well. I don't think that's about the depth it should have been, so it's not too much wore off it, not yet anyway. This girl, how has she went this year? Have I been able to make the repayments? Have I made any money? Well, this year I have done 124 acres of stone picking for hire for other people, and I need to do 120 to make the repayments. That was what my calculations worked out at. So I have made the repayments. I have done 134 acres. So I have 124 done in the country. I've done 134. I've done 10 acres for ourselves, for the sunflowers, for the pumpkins, and for the reseed. So she has earned her keep. Now, does that mean I have made any money? No, it does not. Because, and this is how when you get into buying machinery and contracting and how you make repayments and depreciation and all that comes into play, But 120 acres is just enough money to make the yearly repayments on the machine. That doesn't cover diesel, time, wear and tear, which so far is nothing on the machine but the wear and tear of the tractor, nor the depreciation. So has the machine made me money? No, it's just making its repayments. It's not making me any money yet. But you have to space out the repayments on the machine is over 5 years, and the machine I could have for 15, 20 years. That's where the difference in the machine you buy outright and the machine you don't comes into play. Of that 124 acres I've done for hire, I am still owed money. And I'm still owed money from last year. You may remember, last year I said I was owed €1,000 from one man I was with twice. That man still hasn't paid me. He still owes me €1,000. I'm not applying interest. And partially because he has the invoice, he knows how to pay me, he has my number, but I don't have his number, so I can't keep pestering him about it because I lost the number when I lost my phone in the silage pit. Otherwise, I continuously pester. Now, I am debating whether I should say where the land is so that maybe neighbours could let him know he needs to pay his bills. I would never name and shame someone on social media, and I'd be very sceptical of even doing that. It's one of these things, you feel like it'd be a good way of getting your money, but then does it cross a line? You let me know in the comments. But to be owed €1,000 from April 12 months ago, so I'm owed that. I'm owed €1,000 18 months now and no sign of getting paid. It's a bit of a take. And so far this year, I've been quite good. Most of the 90%, 95% of the work I've done this year, I've been paid for straight out the gap within 7 days, happy out. But I've two men owe me money. One man owes me a couple of €100. I was with him twice. He paid for the first bit. He still has to pay for the second bit. I'll get that. I'm not too concerned about that. But another man owes me €1,600 for reseeding work that I had done for him, which was a full plough, till, harrow, the whole lot, stone pick, the whole lot. He owes me money. I'm not overconfident on that one now because I've heard a few things since. So hopefully I'll get paid. But there is the possibility that I'll be put on the long finger and I'll be waiting for my money like the money from last year. And that's one of the biggest problems with contracting is 95% of people no bother pay you, but there's that 5% of farmers that you go out and work for who will take the piss and not pay you. Sometimes you have to wait a single farm payment. That's not so bad when you know you're going to get it. But then there's lads who will literally draw you out. And Father Phil could tell you of countless times he's been caught where he literally just never gets anything for the work that has been done. And that is part of contracting. Because there's so many contractors out there, farmers in that kind of mindset will just get you to do the work this year, maybe next year, not pay, and then move on to a different contractor and draw you out. It's a nightmare. All in all, how is the stone picker going? I'm quite happy with it. Everything, it's working well, it's doing exactly what it needs to. Customers are happy. I have some repeat customers now. Just on a bit about the kind of work that I have done and what the experience of using this machine now for the second year. So one of the biggest things I say about this is I looked at my screen on the Trimble on the 99 to see the jobs I've done, and one of the biggest things I can see is I have to travel quite far with this machine to get that level of work that I have done. The closest job to the home farm was 5 kilometres from us. The furthest was 60 kilometres. And that was, I won't travel more than 60 because that's an hour and a half, nearly 2 hours depending on roads in the 99. And beyond that, it is getting a bit far. And the further I go, I'm not going to travel that far for a 2-acre job or a 20-acre job. That's enough I can justify. There was more work I could have done outside of that that would have really pushed the boat out, you know, talking 70, 80, 90. I even had a really big job that was 240 kilometres away, and I was very tempted to do it. It was going to take me a full week, and I'd have to hire a lorry to bring the machinery down there because it was far too far to be driving them and do it. But it was just the wrong time of the year, and I just could not justify being away for a week, nor could I justify paying someone else to do the work I should have been doing at home, so I just let it go. But that is one of the biggest downsides. To get that level of work, there's a lot of travelling. The majority of work that I am doing with this is either reclamation, so ground that's been reclaimed, reclamation work, reclaiming groundwork, reseeding ground that hasn't been reseeded in donkey's years, or the odd time I get a bit that's in like a reseeding program where it's quite heavy, or ground that's in tillage, coming out of tillage, or tillage ground. But the majority of what I've done is all reclamation work or ground that's never been reseeded before. Your day-to-day, your farmer who's reseeding paddocks every year, the stones are already picked. There isn't that much need for this machine. So the likelihood of me returning, getting repeat customers on a yearly basis is quite low. It's not no, I've 2 men I worked for last year, I done more for this year, they were just reclaiming the next bit. I have a couple more I done for this year, I'll do the same next year. But it's not like baling, it's not like slurry. It's not a job where you're there every year doing that work. And especially if there's more of them in the country. I know there's another one of these in North Longford. Same year I bought mine, another one was in North. So that literally halved all the work that was going to be in Longford. There's not too many of them around. Is there the work for a lot of them? No. No, without a shout-out, there's not a work for a lot of these machines. Because, as I said, it's mostly reclaiming work. If all of a sudden there was another 3 of these or 2 of these to appear within the locality, that would do a lot of damage to the little round of work that I do have and that I may have going forward. There really isn't a lot of work out there as I was hoping for, but that may grow another bit. And on that, just to kind of finish off, so the stone picker is my baby. I also have the big square baler and the grass harrow, and I think there's another machine somewhere that's mine, but I can't just remember. But anyway, so how did my other machines work on my contracting? Because my father does the majority, that's his baby, and then I have my few little bits just to, you know, keep me tipping along and try and progress into get my own machinery and eventually taking over himself. But how did my other machines go on? Well, the big square baler is the worst year I've ever had. I only made 81 bales with this year. 81 bales of straw for ourselves. No hire work, no hay, nothing else. Very disappointed. It's the first year since I bought it. I have it 4 years now, I'm going to say. That's the first year I haven't done any hire work. The best year I had with it, I done about 1,500 bales, about 500 for ourselves and about 1,000 for hire. But this year, between no hay weather and just no straw to bale in the back end, it's just no real good spell of weather that I could make use of it. Didn't do anything, so I was disappointed. But that machine doesn't owe me any money because I paid for that machine outright, unlike this machine behind me. So it doesn't really matter, it doesn't owe me anything. If I use it, I make money. If I don't use it, it's not costing me money. Whereas not using this costs me money. And then on the grass harrow, I done a small bit of reseeding work where I had done some stitching in. Nothing major worth talking about, but again, that machine I paid outright. If I use it, it's making me money. If I don't use it, it's not costing me anything. So, and yeah, I'm hoping to add to my fleet of machinery next year, try and do another bit of work to try and supplement, because it's all right. This machine is grand. I was out maybe 20 days this year using this machine, but I need to have something else just to make sure that I can keep the account topped up, you know. So anyways, look, I hope you enjoyed today's video. That is the highs and lows of contracting and my wee small bit. I'm not going to get into what Father Phil does, because that's his baby. That's not for me to be discussing, but that's the stone picker. That's how I got on this year. Hopefully next year is everybody's good. And hey, if you have any reclaiming or stone picking work you need to do next year, please get in touch. You can message me on any of the social medias, or if you have a number for me, you can message me. And let me know in the comments down below, what do you think of people who don't pay their bills? Because it is a bit. We wouldn't do it only for we love it. But anyways, I'm going to leave it at that for today's video. As always, please like and subscribe to the channel. Videos every Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday. That's it from me. Good luck.